Today we will tell the story of Balaam's prophecy, which is found in the book of Numbers, chapters 22 through 31. May the word of God reach our hearts as a source of inspiration for our lives. When Balaam finally arrived in Moab, King Balak received him with impatience in his demeanor, a hint of frustration lingering in the air due to the prophet's delay. "What took you so long? I promised you countless riches. Did you doubt my word?" the king asked impatiently. Balaam lifted his gaze, steadfast in his stance, and replied calmly, "I am here now, but understand, O king, that only the words that God commands me will I speak." Faced with the prophet's resolution, Balak led him to a high cliff, which offered a breathtaking view of the Israelite camp spread out at the foot of the mountain. There, before the majesty of the landscape, Balaam instructed the king to erect altars to the Lord, where they offered sacrifices in worship. Then, Balaam requested that Balak remain there while he withdrew to a higher place, seeking God's will to utter his words. In the solemn silence of the heights, Balaam was blessed with a divine revelation. Thus he returned to the presence of King Balak and the elders of Moab, with a solemn expression on his face and the words of the Lord on his lips. Gazing upon the vastness of the Israelite people, he began to speak with a voice that echoed both fear and admiration. "King Balak summoned me to curse Jacob and denounce Israel. But how could I utter curses against those whom God does not curse? How could I denounce those whom the Lord does not denounce? Standing upon these cliffs before this unique people, there is no nation to compare with them. Oh, how I long for the honor of dying as these righteous ones die." King Balak was perplexed. "I brought you here to curse this people, not to bless them," he exclaimed, frowning with discontent. Balaam replied firmly, "I made it clear. I can only say what God commands me to say." Balak, with a somber countenance, proposed, "Come with me to another place. From there you will see only a portion of the people. Perhaps you can curse them." So they went to a second location, where they once again erected altars and offered sacrifices to the Lord. Balaam instructed the king, "Stay here while I speak with God." The Lord met with Balaam and gave him the words to be spoken. Upon returning, he addressed the king solemnly, "O King Balak, listen carefully to what I am about to say. God is not like men. He does not change his mind. He commanded me to bless this people, for the Lord dwells among them. He is their king, and they rejoice in it. He delivered them from Egypt with a mighty hand. Therefore there is no curse for them. They shall be recognized for the great works God has done on their behalf." The king retorted with a dark countenance, "If you cannot curse them, at least stop blessing them." Once again, King Balak took Balaam to another place, so he could observe the people of Israel. "Try one more time and see if there is a curse for this people from here," he ordered, pointing to the vastness before them. Balaam agreed and ordered the construction of an altar, where they made sacrifices to the Lord. However, he did not ascend the mountain. As he watched the valley, he felt the Spirit of God descend upon him. "Oh, the tents of Israel are magnificent," he murmured, amazed. "They are like a garden planted by God. Whoever blesses this people will be blessed. Whoever curses this people will be cursed." Balak was furious. "I brought you here to curse this people. I could have enriched you, but the Lord deprived you of these riches. Now go away." But Balaam raised a hand, asking for silence. "I have one more message," he announced solemnly. "Someone is coming. I cannot see who it is, but it shines like a celestial star. He will be the king of Israel and will triumph over all his enemies." After this outcome, Balaam departed, leaving King Balak to return to his palace, immersed in troubled thoughts. Later, Balaam sought the king again and said, "I cannot curse this people, but there is a way to make them incur God's wrath." And so he outlined a cunning plan. Shortly after, the women of Moab descended to the camp of Israel. With seduction, they engaged with the men, leading them to participate in a festival in honor of the Moabite idols. The men, enticed by the promise of worldly pleasures, yielded and engaged in worshiping the idols. Divine wrath soon manifested. A plague was sent and 24,000 people perished. An Israelite, swayed by the charms of a Midianite woman, dared to bring her into his tent, disregarding the presence of Moses and the leaders of Israel. Furious at the transgression, Phinehas, son of the high priest, took a spear and, fearless, entered the tent. In an act of divine justice, he pierced both with the spear, taking their lives right there. Faced with the divine punishment, the plague ceased. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, commanding, "Gather your army and march against the Moabites and Midianites, for their guilt cries out for justice." The Israelite army advanced and defeated both nations, and among the dead lay Balaam, a victim of his own cunning and the counsel he offered to Balak. This is the 8th part of a series of 9, where we will tell the biblical story of the search for the promised land. Stay with us so you don't miss the next chapters of this story so important to all of us. If you're not subscribed to our channel yet, click the subscription button and join our community. Don't forget to comment, leave a like, and click the notification bell. Your presence and participation here mean a lot to us. And if you missed the previous episodes, we have a complete playlist with all the videos in chronological order. Today I want to leave a verse found in the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 16. They were the ones who followed Balaam's advice and led Israel into unfaithfulness to the Lord in the Peor incident, so that a plague struck the Lord's community. May God's presence be a constant in your life, bringing blessings, joy, and love. God bless you.